Welcome to the AfriGoal podcast. Our show is dedicated to celebrating the diversity of Africa's love for the beautiful game of football. And we are excited to kick off our celebration with AFCON 2023. We'll be joined by guests from all over the continent, and together we shall share fun moments, reflect on the times that made us sad, and reminisce about some of our happiest memories when it comes to the sport we all love. Please note that this is not a program for EPL or UEFA League talk. We are strictly focused on Africa. So if you're a soccer fan, football, as we call it here, who wants to hear more about the vibrant football culture across the continent, you've come to the right place. Join us for fun and an informative ride. So welcome everybody. I'm your host, Raphael Harry. And if you know me, you know that I'm also the host of White Label American Podcast. And I'm joined here today by an awesome brother all the way from Algiers. So please, do you mind introducing yourself, my good friend?
Hi everyone, thank you brother for invitation. I'm so happy to be here celebrating about our amazing continent, our mother is Africa, about the football or soccer that you called in the US. Yeah, I'm Mohamed Amine Benloulu. I'm from Algeria. Uh, Also big fan of football, African football, supporting all the teams, especially when they're representing our content in the World Cup. And loving of diversity also. I research interesting about hip hop culture and that roots, and doing some documentary film about the background of solidarity between African American community and Algeria.
Awesome. And yes, we'll talk more about your movie at the end, but please just let them know the title of your movie for people to uh, know what to look out for.
Yeah, the title is The Black Panthers of Algeria, struggle of the story of struggle in the land of revolutionaries.
Awesome. Awesome. I've checked out the movie and I'll be checking out the game. So, yes, wherever you can see it, please go check out that movie. It's great history, and it also teaches us, some of the misinformation that's out there. It knocks it out the park so that, we need to correct a lot of misinformation that's out there about Africa. But now let's dive into why we are here, and we'll have somebody from um, someone who's based here in the United States joining us in a few moments. He's late to the game. I think we'll call him. We'll say it's on African time. And we also have someone here, but she's not speaking right now. She's Zenith from Zambia. She's raising a son in Baltimore, Maryland, and she's all about sports. She loves AFCON. Otherwise, she won't be here. We'll say why is she here, but she's she's a bigger sports fan than myself because she covers all the sports. But of course, she loves football, and she's representing the Chipolo of Zambia today. And but for some reason, which later on we'll let you know. But she can't be on the microphone right now. But she's in the background, so she's supporting us. We need our supporters cheering in the crowd. So thank you, Zenith, for being with us. And the Chipolo, one of the best nicknames in African football. All our teams have nicknames. So yes. So while we wait for our latecomer to join us, we won't mention the country so that people don't write in and start complaining. But we'll say he's on that country's time. So welcome to our first official episode. And this is going to be a repeat question that everybody who joins us will get. Every guest will get on this podcast. So first question to hit everybody with: what was your first AFCON? Yeah. So, Benloulu, what was your first AFCON memory?
For me, it was 2004.
Oh.
Yeah, where I was still young a little bit,
Who was
but
that 2004? Tunisia?
in Tunisia, yeah, in
Yes.
Tunisia. And the game, there is one goal. I remember it. It was by I forgot the player. Ashu Hussein Ashu
Mm.
has an amazing goal against Egypt. He starts running the ball from the middle of the path into like running as a Messi, as a goal of Messi against I forget the team of Spanish club. It's literally same. He starts running in the middle of instead in the middle of the stadium until they make it goal. So yeah, I totally remember that goal. Since there, I like started discovering what are represent the AFCON and how much powerful the impact of this game in the whole world and in the people also.
Yeah. Hmm. That was I'm trying to see if I can remember that game. Egypt
Yeah,
lost the
it's
game.
yeah. No, I guess we win 2-1.
Oh, 2-1.
Yes, against Egypt.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, by
Huh.
Hussein Ashu is it was amazing goal. Like also there is another game. It was in 2008. It was Algeria vs Senegal,
Oh.
and yeah, and the third goal it was by I have problem with the names, but it was amazing. A goal Rafiq Saifi and yeah Rafiq
What was the
Saifi
final
and
score of that
Abdel
game?
yeah. It was two, 3 against 2. Yeah, three against 2. I guess. Yeah, it was in Blida,
Mm.
Algeria against Senegal. Yeah, and it was the game that qualified us to the group that we played. The qualification of World Cup 2010, African Cup 2009, where there is no famous game Algeria against Egypt.
Yep.
The final game 2009 and the amazing goal of Antar Yahya. It was playing in Sudan.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes, yes, yes,
amazing.
yes. That
Yeah,
game was wild. I
yeah,
remember that game. I remember that game.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember that game
It
now.
was
Yes.
crazy, crazy moments. Yeah, and also I don't never forget a match in final cup. Yeah, Algeria in what? No, it's AFCON 2014,
Mm-hmm.
where Algeria played against Ivory Coast, Côte d'Ivoire. Je
Yes.
parle en français un peu. Against Ivory Coast or Côte d'Ivoire. It was an amazing game. There is a
Yeah.
goal by Abdelkader Keita. Phew!
Mm-mm.
Amazing goal. Yeah, it was against Algeria. Abdelkader
Ah,
Keita. Ooh. But in the last second, uh, we played. We make goal in the last second
mm-hmm.
before the time finish. It was by Bougarra, Abdul Majid Bougarra, an amazing hand.
Oh,
And
Bugarat. That's another amazing guy. Yeah.
Bougarra, yeah, at extra time, in the extra time, Bouazza, he make, third goal. So the match finished 3 against 2, but it was crazy, crazy game. That time, Haliluzic, it was, the coach of,
Yeah.
of Algeria. And of course, 2019, Algeria against Nigeria, and Riyad Mahrez,
Oh, yeah.
amazing goal.
The last minute free kick.
Yeah, the last time free kick. Yeah, those moments make us crazy. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Some good moments there. So,
yeah,
since our latecomer hasn't arrived and Zenith hasn't written an answer yet, I'll give mine. So mine is a little bit way back, way back. So my first AFCON is still my most memorable one was Senegal '92, and
okay.
yeah, that was the first time I started watching AFCON on TV. So if you go watch if you watch it on YouTube now, you see the replay. You're like, whoa. So yeah, Nigeria made it to the semifinals and will face Ghana, and That's when I realized that, well, my family got Ghanaians in my family. We got Ghanaian blood because there was a little, confusion in the house. Like, who is supposed to support? And everybody was like, yeah, we Nigerians. But there were some Ghanaians in the family who were quiet because we were one of the few houses in the neighborhood that had a generator. So
Oh,
many people
yeah.
came to watch the match in our house because of power outages. So you come watch the match in the house of the person who has uh, um, who can guarantee you full power. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can watch the game uninterrupted. So many people were watching the game at our house because it's a big match, and uh, Abedi Pele scored the goal that tied the game, and what's his name? I'm trying to remember that striker who played for Leeds, Yeboah. Yeah, I think it was Yeboah or Datelamte, either Datelamte or Yeboah, who scored the winning goal for Ghana. And I was like, yeah, because I'm like, yeah, either Nigeria or Ghana, it's still a win for me. I mean, technically, I'm supposed to be for both teams. And man, people are sad.
Yeah.
People are sad in the house. People are sad, like, man, kind of won. People are sad and people are angry and all that. But I was like, should we be happy in our house that Ghana won? I thought we eat Ghanaian food and all that. So I thought it was a win for us. Ghana no, people are angry. But yeah, so that was my first official
in
AFCON, and then the final.
in
No, sorry.
92,
Yeah,
it was,
92.
wow, 32 years or 31. Yeah.
2-1. Ended 2-1. And then
Okay.
the final was that crazy penalty shootout with Ghana, with Ivory Coast, Cote d'Ivoire, and which will be repeated again in what was it, 2015, when Ghana and Ivory Coast will play again in the final, and they kept going over. They don't want to keep
Oh
shooting.
yeah,
Yeah,
the longest penalty
yeah.
in the history of football. Yeah.
That it was 92 that it first happened, because they both
Oh.
kept going and going and going and went through. One person missed, the other person will miss, and then all the players completed their penalties. Then they had to start all over again, and then Ghana finally missed, and Cote d'Ivoire won. That was when Cote d'Ivoire won their first first AFCON. And
Oh.
yeah, so 92 will always stay with me because that was the first time I watched a lot of games. I watched other teams, and I think that was the beginning of me, without realizing it, enjoying
Mhm.
other African teams without being like, it must only be my country that I watch, because they showed
Yeah.
other African teams on the TV, which down the line, unfortunately, will start to change to it's only Nigeria they will show. If Nigeria is not playing, then people won't watch. Which is sad to see that, but
Mhm.
you know, but that's the kind of vibes I get nowadays. And then 94, Nigeria will win 94 with the Zambian team that to me, it's still one of the most amazing teams in Africa, because that was the team that, almost a year before that, almost the whole team died in that plane crash.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's sad
this
history. Yes, I
they
remember
had to
this.
build a brand new team, except for
Mm.
Kalushwa Boala, who luckily did not, fortunately, wasn't on the plane that crashed. So Ole himself, and I've forgotten the other person, who both of them were the two veterans combined, and you know, uh, and both of them combined, and two of them together turned into what we now have as um, the the team that's turned into uh, nobody expected a Zambian team to make it all the way to the final, and they just marched all the way, got to the final. And part of me wanted Zambia to win, but I was like, Nigeria's won. Let Nigeria win too. So it was tough. But it was a big party that day. Nigeria won. But at the end of the day, I think football won. Because that's why I was happy when Zambia will win 2013. Zambia
Yeah,
won.
so yeah, with coach, his name
Rene, a French
Christopher.
guy.
Yeah, the French guy. Yeah,
Yeah, he's now coaching the French women's
woman.
national
Yeah,
team.
women's national team. Yes,
Yeah, so yeah, but
they made good. Yeah, yeah, good.
yeah, but
I watched the yeah,
yeah,
and they
but
were good.
Africa. Yeah, he built his career in Africa and moved to
Yeah, yeah.
Saudi Arabia
But
and
so
then
much. Yeah, French coach. They have a long, history with African national teams.
yeah, yeah. But before we dive too far, let's welcome the man who is on the Harambe Stars time. You know, joining us finally. Who are you and where are you coming from?
Hey guys, Sambaza here from the Sambaza Podcast, and yeah, I represent Kenya. Manchester United is my favorite team.
Oh Lord, Lord. Hey, pause. You didn't hear the intro. There's no EPL or UEFA talk
Wait.
here. This is African football podcast. So we're celebrating the diversity of African football here. I don't know who you're representing. Represent African football. Now go again, introduce yourself.
Okay, well, as you can
Yeah.
see, who I
That's why I was
represent
late.
by my
That's why I was
logo,
late.
but I'm a Harambee Stars Kenyan team, Kenyan national
Mm-hmm.
team proponent, and I love my Kenyan team. Even though they have their ins and outs, but I'm pretty sure they'll do something going forward. Yeah, we have a long way to go, but we're having the steps. The steps are there.
One step at a time.
Yeah,
That's the
that's what it
way.
is. Yeah.
Well, welcome to AfriGoal Podcast. Sambaza, good to have you here.
No, thank you, Ralph.
Unlike some brethren of ours who, were supposed to be here and then they're I won't say they're secret, but they're somewhere where stuck somewhere. But we are praying for them. So, the first official question for every brand new guest is, what is your first AFCON memory, or what's your first AFCON?
Wow. Did I even? There have been so many. And Ralph, when I was young, I wasn't so much vested in it because of transmission. The
Yeah,
transmission of the Africa Cup of Nations was really not so much. But
in Kenya.
in Kenya, it wasn't that much of a big deal. I say to me, because it wasn't being put out there unless the Harambee Stars was playing. Otherwise, you were getting some snapshots here and there, and then all the way to the finals. That's when you now the semifinals, quarter semis, round of 16. At that point, that's when you kind of get more and more info. Um, I'll tell you, the most exciting team was Nigeria all the time. That's a vivid memory I have with regards to Africa Cup of Nations. Now, in the recent years, yeah, it's become something of a cornerstone of our African football. So we do appreciate it, and I think I'll say my last one is where this dude for Manchester United played from Tunisia when he won. What's this guy who plays for Manchester United? Starts with a Z.
Where is Z?
Is it Z? Yeah, the last name Z. Some, but he plays for Tunisia. He plays for Tunisia, and
You
which
sure?
name? No, not Tunisia. It's not Tunisia.
Yeah, you're the one that's a Man United
Morocco.
fan.
Is it
Yeah.
Morocco? Morocco.
Golly, this man.
Ziyech.
Zayed. Yeah, that's the guy. That's the guy.
That guy
Yes.
ain't
Ziyech.
Tunisian.
Yeah, Ziyech. Right now is playing in Turkey.
Yeah, he's in
Okay.
Turkey. But he's
Yes.
Turkey. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the
Ziyech.
guy who actually made made me now start watching it more and more as the time went along. But yeah, that's my quick info regarding how I came about to the Africa Cup of Nations.
Well, in the old days, I would have. Wait. Let me see. I think I have something. I would have. I would have. Okay, I don't have it here. I would have. I would have gotten the whip and whipped you, but no, no more. I've changed. I've changed. It's new year, new me kind of thing. But
Okay.
yeah. But welcome to the AFCON. We love bringing the brethren back in. Myself and Zenith, we've talked about this, how we need to bring those of you who've run away to the EPL and like, see, you're the lost sons, the prodigal sons. We're bringing you guys back, you know. But you brought up one point that actually tied into what I was talking about before you came on, and it's something that I didn't realize it when I was a kid, because my first AFCON that I got to, my first AFCON memory is 1992. That was Senegal 92 that I watched, and they showed every country playing all the matches, and so I was like that, and that's how you get to see the diversity of Africa. And it was only 8 countries that was on in AFCON. Then it was only 8 teams, and then it expanded to 16, and then now it's 24. And you don't realize what's happening then when they show you other countries. So as a kid, I was enjoying it. I'm watching other teams, but I remember during last AFCON, I was on Clubhouse, and I was talking to a group of Africans, and they most of them were EPL fans, and Nigeria was I think it was the day Nigeria got knocked out by Tunisia. Yeah, it was that day. And for them, AFCON was over. They're like, yeah, why am I watching this tournament? It's over. I don't care anymore. And I was like, I thought you all were Africans, these are all people who are like, Africa is the country, Africa is a bust. I don't care. You guys talk trash about every other place. And as soon as this is our tournament, this is our once is a biannual tournament. We don't have any other tournament as big as this. So it's our celebration. And because your national team got knocked out, it's over. I don't care. I'm back to English Premier League, UEFA, blah, 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 blah. And I think it has to do with this. They no longer show all the games of other teams. And there's a whole generation that lost that, which I was fortunate to watch and grow up with. So it's easy for me to support other African countries. I'm happy for other people when they win. It's great to see Comoros beating big teams. And I have a friend he's not African, but he loves Comoros. And he was so happy when Comoros qualified for the first time, and he was so happy they beat Ghana, they qualified for the second round. And I was just happy seeing his reaction. And I know a bunch of Nigerians are like, I don't care. But if a small team in England wins, they're the ones celebrating. I'm like, what does that have to do with us, really? What does that bring to us? Nothing. But the one that should be bringing something to us, we know we've lost that. So when you mentioned that in Kenya, they weren't showing the AFCON except if Kenya was there, that's when I made that connection that, there's something that I was fortunate to witness. And it didn't it wasn't a big deal to me then, because, you just had it on TV, that's what happens when you have states. And there was only 2 TV stations back then, state and federal TV. So there was the programming was limited. So I guess they could show everything. And then with time, there was competition, and then we lost out on a whole lot of things. So, it's just something I said I should point out. But yeah, Benloulu, if you got something to say to that,
I think,
please go ahead.
if I may jump in here.
Oh, go ahead.
To me, I think as Africans, what you should be looking at when you're watching the Africa Cup of Nations is not so much your team. What you should be looking at is how much talent. And for anyone that goes to watch these games, try to look at the players. Go into their bios, go to the website, look at their bios. look at which country they play for abroad, because most of the time there are players who play abroad and are exports. So you want to know what type of talent we're exporting out there, and this is actually their homecoming to when they come back to Africa Cup of Nations. It's like your homecoming to show that, hey, this is what I've gone out there to learn the craft, and this is what the craft is all about. Now, let's not forget there's some other teams that feature homegrown talent purely, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also, that would be something to cherish too and mark and see, okay, these are players who play for what team in their local countries, if they're like the top flight, like for example in Kenya, in their heydays, Gor Mahia and AFC,
Yeah,
right?
go
Those are
Maya
the
AFC.
teams. You'd want to know and see, okay, who plays for these teams, because there will be some intercontinental games before the Africa Cup of Nations comes that you'll see these teams play around. um if you're a good, or if you're not a good, but if you're a true supporter of African football, or you have interest, right? Take a snapshot of what you have established, like for example some of those homegrown teams, and say, okay, I have these 11 people who played for this particular team. They did so well, they went to the semifinals. Watching the news, you will see some of these players being picked up, and then you wait for the next 4 years. I know 4 years is a long time, but then you could follow these players up into where they go to, into other international leagues where they go to play, and then after that, you have some sort of appreciation to what exposure can do to you, and then you learn to also appreciate the Africa Cup of Nations in itself, because hey, this is where scouts come in and pick out talent for the soccer players. And again, this is like their homecoming, as I repeat again, for the older players or the other players to say, hey, you know what, there's talent out there, this is what you can do. And I'm pretty sure when they come back home to play, or wherever, when I say home, I mean wherever they're playing, there's some negotiation going on between the players, and some people meet up their dream players, their African dream players, and get some advice and get to learn how to move through when they get to the international levels. So it is an important thing that we need to look at, not just as a sport, just a base sport that, oh, we're playing against African countries. No, it's much bigger than that.
Yeah, yeah. Benloulu, you got something to add before I go to Zenith's comment?
Yeah, I totally agree because when you watch, the example, uh, European Champions League, when you see an African player in the final, like you see something amazing, we all celebrate to him
Mm-hmm.
because it's not represent his club or his country, his when he speak about all our continent, you know even the speaker, when he when he speak about him, we say he's an African player. You know what I mean? So he represent us. Also, when AFCON starts, is the way which it's a platform, I can say, a space that we can celebrate all together, because football is a tool, and celebrate and united is the goal. So we must use that, because as African, I believe football is one the few thing that let us celebrate and be out in our nature, you can say, because the way they celebrate all together, like singing together, a lot of things through the football. So yeah, that's it, I guess. Because even when you say, like I said, example, Yaya Toure, he
Mm-hmm.
was a Manchester, Didier Drogba, uh, a lot of players, like when you see, like, they make you feel proud. Riyad Mahrez,
Yeah.
much players, Mo Salah, all these players like represent our continent, and one of when you see the at the best of the best in the world. not just Cristiano Ronaldo or Messi or Kevin De Bruyne or wherever, but also we have best players. The keep goal of Manchester. Much player like superstars, Ashraf
Uh-huh.
Hakimi. There's a lot of players like represent our continent in high best low. Most of them like starting from the continent, like from nothing. They are
Mm-hmm.
truly inspirational stories. Sadio Mane started from Senegal from nothing to superstar.
Mm-hmm.
I give you the best, the goal of Algerian history, Islam Slimani. Islam Slimani is literally, start from nothing. Right now, he's play in Brazil. He played in different clubs. Right now, he's play. One of the few African play in Brazil. That's something amazing. Like
Yeah.
Brazil is representing football. When you say Brazilian club, they invite African player to support them. That's something amazing and plus. So those are amazing story which are inspired us. Football is not a game. Is, as you said, my friend, is more than that. Is a way that we make it proud, as a way that celebrate, and the only few thing that we can be all together. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Before I jump, I go ahead. Let me read what Zenith said. Oh, correction. Yes, we lost. Zambia lost their entire team in a plane crash in 1993. And the next AFCON, the whole country was watching, and they made it to the final, which was Tunisia '94, and they lost to Nigeria in the final, which I had referenced earlier. And it was 2012, not 2013, that Zambia won. So it came full circle. And I think the whole of Africa was just happy for them. And it was unfortunate that Ivory Coast was in the final and Didier Drogba was in the final because, a lot of people wanted Didier Drogba to also win. And that was the last AFCON that he played. But he came up against Zambia and it was just a beautiful story that had to come full circle because that plane crash, people just wanted Zambia to get that out of their to check that box of winning an Afcon because it's tough, and there was also some people who wanted to have beef with Gabon because of where the plane crashed, and there was all manner of conspiracy theories, but we won't go into that. There was Zenith also referenced there was only one survivor of the crash, the coach who was with the team in 2012, and she loves all her teams. She watches the World Cup, and we need to appreciate. Zenith also goes on to say we need to appreciate the Afcon and speak up for it and fight for visibility, not only when they are in Europe or bigger clubs. And that brings me to my point. Something back to what Sambaza says. Sambaza brought up players' exposure through tournaments like this, and I wanted to just point out that we also have the Chan, which is a tournament for players based only in Africa. So it's that is the main exposure tournament because back in the days, AFCON used to be the exposure, but the more players started going, especially to Europe and overseas to play. Most of our players are the established stars. If you remove all the Africans from, I started watching Premiership. Now I'm a non-Premiership hater, but I started watching EPL back when they didn't want to sign foreigners. They was big in not signing foreigners in the early '90s. Most of our guys today don't know that, and you could see their performances in Europe when they couldn't beat anybody, and then they started allowing foreigners in. Daniel Amokachi was a big sign for £3 million. And it changed everything. Everything won the FA Cup, but you could see how Africans coming in changed those leagues. And if you remove all the Africans from those leagues, yeah, they will pay Brazilians and Argentinians higher money, but remove all the Africans, it's over. It's over. All those leagues. So I like to point that out. That
Ralph.
there's a point. Oh, just give me a second. There's a point to be said that while we need to speak to visibility, we need to speak to all these things. Doesn't remove the accountability of CAF, because CAF also has messed up a lot in not properly doing the advertising. While we, the fans, also have the responsibility of promoting our continent, promoting our tournament, CAF also needs to do a better job at giving TV rights to people who really want to push our tournament out here. If I ask most people who live in the United States, where do you watch AFCON? Many people don't know, who are of African diaspora. They don't know where to find the games. But the same channel has South American rights, and they're advertising the South American games on buses in New York here. I see you know when those games are coming up, but you don't know when the same channel has African rights. You don't see African games on buses. You don't see it on billboards. CAF doesn't do anything about it, but now I think there's some fights going on. They're giving a new company. Hopefully, I can watch AFCON, because I'm looking forward to watch AFCON. These are some of the issues that I have with the visibility thing, and it's stuff that we will need to keep bringing up and bringing up and bringing up. It's an ongoing fight, but the tournament, when it comes to players' visibility, I think Chan speaks to that. We've had I'm trying to remember his name. There's a Moroccan striker. I think he's now in South Korea, but he got injured before the World Cup. Unfortunately, he could have benefited from Morocco doing really well at this last World Cup, but he came out from Chan. Morocco has won Chan back to back, and then Algeria did really well. But that's a tournament where it's only the players who play on the continent that participate in, and you see the African countries that invest in their leagues, invest in their football, really, that's where you see their home-based players shining. And before we started recording, I was talking to Benloulu, and that's where you see countries like Sudan, which would have done well, but with the current fighting going on in Sudan, we lose out on places like that, bringing teams to tournaments like that, because their players are not outside. They're all of them are inside. And then places like Ethiopia also, they play beautiful football. If you watch Ethiopia national team anytime, any day, against any of the star-studded national teams, they play. They come out and play beautiful. So I just thought to throw those points out there. Please go ahead before I move to the next and final round of questions.
No, I think I was going to say they wanted to feature like only 3 players at that time in the EPL, foreign players.
That
was the time they started off with just 3, and then somehow, somewhere along the line, things changed, and now they decided to allow more players. Yeah.
Well, the thing is that I saw the quality. I mean, one of my favorite games was yes. Thank you. Are you El Kabi? That's right. I see one of my favorite games was FK Gothenburg knocking out Man United. Because I remember the goal. The guy slid between I can't remember the United. I remember, I'm seeing his face, but I can't remember his name. Slid between his legs to equalize, and it used to be funny. But it was 1-1, and teams like that United would be struggling to knock them out in Europe. But it felt like there was more. It was more level, and then they started signing more players, but it's not just any type of foreign players. You start seeing the difference, because United couldn't beat French teams. Who do French teams have? A lot of. Every French team from second division to first division have Africans. Belgian teams have Africans. They've had that since like the 70s. And you can't beat them. And then just like one day you finally wake up and say, maybe we should start. Maybe we should take not just white talent from them. We should take Africans also. And then your results start changing. I mean, look at Kanu coming to Arsenal, and then the results speak for themselves. So there's too many examples that we can get into. Look at even Man City. Yaya Toure arrived and it changed, but all the glory goes to Guardiola. But it was Yaya Toure that arrived and everything changed after Yaya Toure. Well, the glory goes to Man. Of course, we go to who to go to, but the person who deserves the statue first is Yaya Toure. So
but back to the African continent, and you're right about the advertising. I think the CAF needs to do more. I think it's more to do with the development of the game, export the game, and make the game available to the people out there. Now, there's those rights, being given the rights to advertise and also to broadcast the games, because I mean, look at it. There's a lot of talent right now. They can say, "Hey, look at all the players that we have out there." Um, and what we can do for you, this is our pool of players. You can search for a pool of players to take out from here and bring them to your leagues, and hopefully sign better players and advance your teams to greater heights.
I humbly disagree on that. I think you're looking at it the wrong way. You're looking at it as selling players. I'll
But
give you an example. The largest
you
continent in
are.
the world, remember, is Asia. They don't. Have you heard of Asian Federation struggling to market their league, their continental
No,
tournament? No, it's not about. It shouldn't. They have big leagues in their continent. You can keep your players in your continent, and you can also players can go. It should be, if you want to. The economics will take care of players moving.
but the
You
economics
know,
will take care of it in terms of numbers.
but
Remember.
what we are talking about, the main thing is that within Africa, like how much does the winner of African Champions League get? Do you know how much?
Mm-mm.
$5 million. It's more expensive to play in the tournament than to win the tournament.
Oh,
Yeah.
but
So
my point
then
is,
you're playing Confederations Cup. How much? So it gets lesser and lesser. So it's not about selling players. Selling players is cheaper. That's why everybody has academies now instead of leagues.
no,
Like the
it's not.
big,
It's not
you
to
know.
sell. You're looking.
But
Yeah, there's the
we are
point
going
of
into a whole
selling.
different topic because
No, that's
if you're
why.
marketing, you don't market like that. The point is you have a product which is the most difficult continental competition to win in the world. Look at North America. Gold Cup is guaranteed. USA Mexico final guaranteed. That's the most boring continental competition. Europe is you can pick between one of 8 teams always in the final of Europe. Um, Asia, Japan has dominated for a while now, so it's one team against Japan mostly in the final. So Africa is where it's tougher now, and the smaller teams are beating the bigger teams. Most recent, if you go by the statistics, defending champions struggle to get out of group phase. It's tougher. So there are people who like stuff like that. You can market that and say, look, we have a competition that nobody can predict. AIs can predict. Everybody struggles to predict. That is money guaranteed right there.
But,
But how you
but
packaging it, how you go out there and say, hey, this is what we have. It's not about selling players anymore. No,
no,
we've
no, no,
gone
no,
way
no, no,
past
no, no,
that.
no, 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 no.
But you
It's
can't
not.
even package it because the past CAF president signed some weird deal for $1 million, TV rights for $1 million in the like around 2013. Like that is mad corruption, man. That was like you for like 10 years, and it was like, come on. So that's why I'm just let's stay on the football because there's some it's just gonna your blood pressure gonna go high if I start
No,
bringing
no.
out the
That's the
things that
point.
are
I didn't
gonna
want to get into the calf part. I was trying to.
the background. But it's
I,
still right
I-
to hold CAF accountable. We have to mention it that because all the problems that we have, CAF, you can't escape CAF. CAF has a responsibility. The fans, we as fans, we have to shout, not shout. We have a job of bringing visibility to our tournament, saying CAF, AFCON, it's our World Cup as Africans. That's our World Cup. And we can't say just because my country of birth is knocked out, bye, I'm out of here. I'm out of no. It's wrong for us to be pushing that type of mindset. And that's the only place that we can come. But CAF has a lot of work to do. The African Football Awards happened just was it Benloulu? Was it last week that happened?
Yeah, it was in
Yeah, last
Marrakesh.
week. Yeah, Marrakesh last week,
Mhm.
and there have been
A lot,
improvements over the years. Over the
a
years, I've
lot
seen it.
about discuss about this award. Like
Yeah,
crazy thing happens.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
A
yeah,
lot of
crazy.
things, yeah. A lot of things illogical happened in that war, like
Mm-hmm.
unacceptable at all.
I agree.
Uh,
I
I
agree.
can't speak this. Yeah, because when you announce the best player in Africa, you forgot Riyad Mahrez, who win three in three cup.
Yeah.
Second, how you divide Ashraf Hakimi, who take Morocco to the
To the
semifinals of the
semi
World
to the
Cup.
semifinal of the World
Yeah,
Cup.
okay, you can
Oh yeah,
say he's
I,
the best,
I hear you on all that because, but
yeah,
the truth of the point is, a case could be made for. I mean, even Mohamed Salah, the consistency of that brother has been is unmatched. Not even by Messi or Cristiano for the past few years. If he was Brazilian or Argentinian, the language people will use to describe him in media will be totally different.
yeah.
And it's back to
That's
that
what
same being African.
something
You
that's
see,
make me sad because when you see our players, they have a good result in Europe, but
hmm
in African continent, they don't give them what they are deserve. You know what I
yes,
mean?
that's another
That's a
problem.
problem. Yeah, that's
That's
a
a bigger
big
problem.
problem.
But
Yeah,
I think we'll make that
We'll make a
the
subject
next
for another day.
episode. Yes, the next episode. So,
Okay, but
but
that was the only thing I was trying to bring about. It's
yeah,
there's a point where I think my marketing point was to now be able to get those to get people to be able to see,
mm,
and numbers matter. When you have the numbers,
yeah,
that's when it makes a whole bunch of sense. Like for example, we'll, just throwing this out there, cricket is the most popular sport in India, but
hmm
yes,
people don't show it around. But now it's starting to export itself all over the world. People are trying to get that piece of the pie because there's a lot of money that you can gain from advertising in that. So
exactly.
it's there's that aspect of the advertising part that I think CAF can do better on it. But
If you will
back
allow
to the football.
professionals being there.
Right.
Last point that we'll make on that, Zenith just left in the chat. We need to be like the Super Bowl. The whole country is in on it, even after the hometown loses. But us, right? So, yes, thank you, Zenith. That's another great point. So, final question, so that we can start wrapping up. I actually had three questions, but we didn't get to all of them. But we have enough time to get to the other questions, so we'll do that on the next round. Uh, who is your pick to win AFCON 2023? Now, there's a reason why I'm asking this question now, because I need to start getting people on the record so that if you know, down the line, somebody, after the tournament, somebody says, "Hey, no, 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 I knew this team will win." I'm like, "I got you on this day. You said this." So on the record now, who do you have as of today? Who's your spirit telling you will win AFCON 2023? Sambaza, go.
that's
I'm gonna go with Nigeria.
Nigeria. You
Yeah,
sure? Go put
I'm
money
gonna
on
go with
that.
Nigeria. I'm
You
gonna
put
throw
money
it.
on that.
I'm gonna
Okay.
throw it.
You're a very bold guy. I have to drink. Make sure my throat doesn't get dry.
Why?
I'm not. You're the one that said Nigeria. I'm not. I'm not.
You wearing the shirt?
Yeah, I can wear any shirt. I'm not. You're not wearing any shirt. So, what about
I,
you, Ben Lulu?
of course I support my country Algeria because they have good chance of this Africa. But at the same time, there's so many national teams that are good. Yeah, uh, I take Cote d'Ivoire also.
Cote d'Ivoire, home advantage. Yes, you can't rule out home advantage. That's the only reason why I'm looking at, because Cote d'Ivoire hasn't played well in the build up to the tournament. They haven't
Let's see,
impressed me.
because African Cup is different because there is so
Yes.
many countries, so many national teams in history like falls in qualification or
Mm-hmm.
lost friendly game, but and they come to to the cup, they have a good path in, good. So there is, I select Algeria as my country because they come so strong. Cote d'Ivoire, also Morocco. Morocco,
No.
they
You got to pick one. One. We need one team,
okay,
right?
okay,
One
one.
team.
Okay,
And
Algeria, my
Zenith,
country.
type your answer. Type your answer. Zenith, let us know your answer. So Algeria, final answer.
Algeria, yes.
Okay,
Algeria, yes.
okay. That's it's a blend of youth and experience right now. But I
Yeah,
don't know if
yeah,
it will
they,
gel in time for the tournament, but we'll see. Um, yeah, Zenith. We know that Zambia is in the same group, Morocco, but that's not an answer. We need an answer of what team do you pick to win AFCON right now? Who's your team? What's your choice? Um, hmm. Me, if you held a gun to my head right now, I'll just say Atlas Lions. That's it. I'm going with but there's two teams at every AFCON that it doesn't matter how good or bad they've been playing. Once it comes to AFCON, those teams are a threat. Egypt and Cameroon. Now, if I always bet money, if I was a betting man, I would have put money on Egypt and Cameroon because the Egypt is playing really good right now. Cameroon is
Cameroon
most of
now,
that.
they
But
literally like qualified
Okay,
to
can I change?
qualification.
no, you can't change, man.
No, I'm gonna change.
No, you can't change. You already that's I gave you the you with confidence. You said like a Nigerian prime like a Nigerian president. You just went with Nigeria, so it's
As
too
a
late.
matter of fact.
Zenit ran away as soon as I tried to put her on the spot. She ran away, but yeah, Morocco and I said Morocco, Egypt and Egypt. The only reason why I can't go with Egypt is for the last two AFCONs, I've always predicted a team with an indigenous coach will win. And Morocco has an indigenous coach. I like what I'm seeing. Yeah, many people don't like their striker situation, but I think Morocco will be. I think they can do it. I think they have enough juice from the World Cup. So uh, yeah, and a North African team hasn't won in West Africa since Egypt won in Burkina Faso in '98. So
Oh wow,
yeah, so yeah, it might
that's
be
gonna be
time for
interesting.
a repeat. That was a good tournament too for Benny McCarthy when he hit 8 goals, and Osama Sam also hit 8 goals. So
So,
yeah,
are you gonna be vested in all this? Like, how is your viewing? You're gonna be viewing all the games?
yeah, we are trying. I have my Egyptian brother who will try to go watch games, but the games are in the morning here.
Hmm.
Um, we'll try to view games, and
Can you imagine if you get a live stream of somebody who is like the broadcasting going on over there, like here, and then tap into it, like somebody playing, like for example, a commentator there, and then somebody's watching TV. Like that's what I used to do sometimes with the Kenyan TV because the broadcasting was very boring. So what you do is you turn on your radio, switch off the
radio,
TV, and
man,
then
you want to give
listen.
somebody a heart attack with
Man,
radio commentary.
that
do
that was
do
the
young
best.
do young people of today know radio commentary?
That was the best way of watching soccer.
Oh,
I
man,
mean, if you wanted to watch soccer, African soccer, man, just put a radio on,
hey, wait,
turn off the
Zenith
TV
still hasn't
volume.
picked a team. What are you almost picking? Pick one team. Goodness, Zenith. Yeah, you're almost picking. Pick one team. Uh, get it over with. Just pick one team. Don't,
Pick
don't,
a
don't be
dark
almost.
horse.
Yeah, pick one team. Just, Ghana needs loving. Somebody has to pick Ghana. Yeah, I pick Morocco. Well, you can pick Morocco too if you want to pick Morocco. But then trying to be on the safe side. I thought you wanted to pick Egypt. Go with your heart. Go with your guts. No, but radio commentary, man. Radio commentary is much sweeter when there's no TV. You just listening to the whole thing and you're like, huh? once they cross the center line, it's like, you're like, have they scored or not? Wait, is he in the box? Is he about to score? What is going on? The guy is screaming. Oh man, no, no,
But you've
no.
seen that guy from the Arab when he's doing the commentary. Hello, 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 hello. You see, yeah. But you see,
Amal.
The Arab commentary, like they have their own style.
Yeah. Oh,
They have,
I love it.
yeah,
I
they
love
have
it.
really own style. Like, yeah, you have, in Africa there is, I believe, two. There is Hafid Raji. They both are working for Bean Sport. There is Hafid Raji,
Mm-hmm.
Issam Shouali, and third, also there is two amazing Tunisian, Issam
Yeah,
Shouali
that's what
and
kills me. There's good. Being sport is better overseas than here. Here it's just only French league. Uh, what else?
right, my brother,
Turkish
right.
league. They don't. When it comes to African football, it's just they just show you the game. Champions League, African Champions League, Confederations Cup. We put the commercials in the middle of the game. Okay, why are you punishing us? You don't do that in South
but
Americans. What?
like if we compare like
Oh.
African Champions League, the quality of the image, the stadium, there's a big difference. Like when just go to Asia, if you watch recently in Arab Saudi, how much people, the quality of the image,
Mm-hmm.
they all look something like playing. Like, who is watching African Champions League? Even we
Oh,
are
I am.
African, we don't watch it a lot.
Yeah.
But
No,
I
I
mean,
get that, but the thing is that the way being covers the sport, they can make it exciting. They can have the commentators who they bring the commentators from
yeah,
Africa to cover the game.
yeah,
If
yeah,
put
yeah,
those
yeah,
guys, you need to bring them here. It's cheaper to have them over there covering commentary on the game. But
yeah, indeed,
I,
yeah.
I don't know what's going on there. It's just like sometimes they'll put on games. There's no commentary, and I'm watching the game. It's just quiet, and I'm like, okay, is something happening or do
It's
I
like
need
back
to?
in the pandemic.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm just watching, and but there's crowd. You're hearing the music from the crowd in the stadium, and it's just quiet. And then after like maybe 30 minutes, oh yeah, 12. You just go and say, I'm like, what is going on? With these people, why you guys? It's just like man. I'm like, but it's
But
like nobody
you see,
from
like what
CAF.
I'm saying, they just need to tune in somebody. They can tune in. They have the equipment. They can tune in
They
somebody
do.
to do the commentary
They
from there,
do. They
sitting
can
there.
make it exciting because when they had La Liga, they weren't doing that. They didn't try that with La Liga. They didn't try
Yeah,
that with La Liga.
yeah,
So
they did great.
I know you can do a much better job. They can do a much better job. So yeah, otherwise give it to somebody who is serious about it. So Zenith, you sticking with Morocco or you want to change to Egypt? You're not sticking with Zambia,
Hey, we're African. We're going to support any other country. We're
Hey,
allowed to, right?
nobody picks South Africa. No, the Bafana. Ah,
I don't know
okay.
about Bafana. Maybe.
Hey, since Rwanda beats them in the World Cup qualifier, their fans have been quiet online. It's not easy. But yeah. But anyway, this is a good place to end part one of the first episode of the recording. This will definitely be, we'll have a weekly. We'll try and record more episodes weekly, and yeah, this has been fun. We'll bring more fun topics and have more. Hopefully, our presidents we have a president in South Africa. He's Malawian, but lives in South Africa. He's a president. He was supposed to be here today, but his in-laws kidnapped him, so that's why he's not here. And we have the gentleman in Thailand who was one of the first people to sign up also isn't here, but well, it's all good. So can't thank you all enough for joining us. Please let people know where they can find you and how they can get in touch with you. Who'll go first? Sambaza, go first.
Why I always go? At
You were
Sambaza
last to join.
Podcast is
So
my podcast. So anytime you want to join me in my conversations, just get into at Sambaza Podcast and listen to my episodes. We have fun episodes and we talk about everything. That's why I'm here to support my brother Ralph with his AFCON
Ralph,
commentaries. Yeah, Ralph with
you,
his
you,
commentaries.
you're really
I'm
Kenyan
African.
man. The L comes out from nowhere.
I'm from Kenya. It comes out sometimes, you know that. Okay. Anyway, uh, y'all can just listen to my podcast. It's everywhere there. And hey, I appreciate coming along and hope for more episodes and we can chat.
That's right. Benloulu, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much for this invitation. It was so fun to to enjoy with you and discuss and laugh in the same time, and also knowing our brother Sabata. I don't know if you can reach out to me. I have Instagram is Mohamed Benloulu. I'm film director. I do research about hip hop culture and directing short movies about all something related about African history. I have recent documentary. It was the Black Panther of Algeria, a story of struggle in the land of revolutionaries, where I highlight the solidarity of African American community and Algerian revolution, as well how Algeria became as a mecca of all liberation movements in Africa, speaking about Nelson Mandela, Patrice Lumumba, Nkrumah, and others, African leaders. So yeah, that's it.
Awesome. So yes, follow Sambaza and follow Benlulu. Um, you get great stuff from them. Oh, and Zenith also. If you're on IG, Instagram, go to Mamba, ZHAMAAMBA, and I'll have all of that in the show notes. And thank you all for being here. I'll see you all at the next episode. And thank you for the privilege of your company. AFCON 2023. We'll see who got the winner right. You can come hold us responsible.